of Nityananda Prabhu was also Hare Krishna.
Hare
Also,
Krishna, we
was it?
didn't know.
Hare Krishna.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know who I'm speaking to. Like I'm speaking to the screen. Now at least I can see you. Now I feel happy. But how come I can't see the others?
They're not sharing their video.
Some of them are sharing.
Okay, I saw a little bit of Sachi. Okay, now I can see. Okay, I can see Madhavendra Puri. Hare Krishna. Okay. All right. Okay, I can see, and I can just see. Okay. All right. Okay. Yes. Yes. Priya, pass it. I made a little bit notes. Okay. Okay. Also, I explained all this about. Okay, I'll start again. Since you all just joined. Oh, okay. Raj Vishme has also come.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, bro. Very good. Okay. Oh, okay. There's Amal Gora and his good wife, Sarva Mangala. So now I'm seeing our team. Okay. So all of y'all can, first time I'm using Zoom, so I don't know how to use it. Okay. Now y'all can see each other? You can
Yes,
see
we
the
can
other
see.
participants? You can see.
Except
Okay,
those
good.
who did not turn on their camera video.
Okay, whoever joined, you can see them. All right, good. Okay, I'll start the talk again. Today, being Lord Nityananda Mahaprabhu's appearance day, I explained that Lord Nityananda Prabhu, he always wanted to give respect to Gauranga Mahaprabhu. But Gauranga Mahaprabhu used to give so much respect to Nityananda Prabhu. Why? The reason, Nityananda Prabhu was initiated by Lakshmi Tita. And Lakshmi Tita happened to be the guru of Madhavendra Puri. And Madhavendra Puri's disciple was Ishwara Puri. And Mahaprabhu accepted Ishwara Puri as his guru. So there was 2 generations difference between them. Therefore, Mahaprabhu gave so much respect to Nityananda Prabhu. And Nityananda Prabhu always wanted to serve Mahaprabhu because that is his mission. Even as Balaram, he served Krishna in this way. And in this Leela, there is a different Leela. One is the Krishna Leela, where Krishna and Balaram appear. And the Gaura Leela is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Nityananda. So in the Gaura Leela, Nityananda Prabhu is actually Balaram. And Balaram, we know in the Krishna Leela, served Krishna in so many ways. He was the bed, he was the crown, he was everything actually. So in this way, he wanted to serve Gauranga Mahaprabhu. But Gauranga Mahaprabhu gave him so much respect. And then I explained how that Nityananda Prabhu was very, very, very tolerant. very, very tolerant. When he was preaching, he was attacked by Jagai and Madai, and he was bleeding profusely. And at that time, Mahaprabhu was so cross that he wanted to kill Jagai and Madai with his chakra. And Nityananda Prabhu begged him, please don't kill them. You have come in this incarnation to save the sinners, the most fallen. Instead, you give them Krishna Prem. And that is what Gauranga Mahaprabhu did. So this is how he preached. So now talking about preaching, we have to understand that in order to be a preacher, then one has to be also a realized person to be effective. Why? Because a person who is realized, he can preach even to a sinful person, and with his Shakti, he can make them faithful because he can transmit the Shakti. Even a Madhyama Adhikari can't preach because he hasn't got the power, the Shakti to transform people. So yeah, this is very important, but a lot of people don't understand this. They think everyone is a preacher, anyone can preach. And this is a problem today. You will probably see so many talks that's going on Nityananda Prabhu's appearance day, but they're all by conditioned souls who don't have Shakti. And they speak very sweetly about the pastimes, and it gives so much so-called joy to people. But this joy is short-lived because it is only sentimental. It has no power, it has no Shakti. Therefore, Prabhupada, he said purity is the force. So that is one of the reasons why in the Jaiva Dharma it explained that only an Uttama Adhikari can preach. So all of us, we have to understand that, that even if you put many, many quotes, even by Prabhupada on Facebook, it'll still won't have a real effect until you yourself is practicing. Just like you may know that smoking is not good, right? And you have heard so many people say smoking is not good, it's bad for your health. But at the same time, if you smoke, then the power, the Shakti that's coming out of you won't penetrate people. So even if you make post from Prabhupada or wherever, but you yourself is not practicing, that post will be ineffective. I see in many of you post and want to post so many things, but you have to come to the level. Then only will your posting be effective. You have to be pure. So like this, Nityananda Prabhu taught us to, and he was spreading the pure Harinam. And what does pure Harinam means? Pure Harinam means without offenses. So now only a person who's on that level, who's not making offenses, can actually preach. Right. Now, if we have so many material attachments, etc., it's very difficult. But on the instruction of the Guru gives you a specific instruction to preach or to say or do certain things you can do based on his empowerment, not whimsically. Just like even if one wants to post something on Facebook or something, one should also get the permission of the Guru. Then only can one post. The Guru will read the article and say, okay, so he will empower that article with some Shakti. So based on that instruction, he can preach. You can preach. But if you just do it whimsically, well, I heard this, Prabhupada said this, and I just put it, it's okay, but it won't have that effect. Just like I give you another example. Once the devotees in Prabhupada's times, they had went on Sankirtan, and when we talk about Sankirtan, people get confused. But actually, they went on book distribution, right? But today is loosely termed Sankirtan, right? Sankirtan is a little bit different. Actually, Sankirtan is actually chanting the pure name of Krishna, Kirtan, right? And so they went on book distribution, and they had collected a certain amount of Lakshmi. And when they came, and they told Prabhupada, we have done an X amount of sales, and we collected an X amount of Lakshmi. And then Prabhupada said, okay, you can give me the Lakshmi. And they had given like 80% of the Lakshmi. And Prabhupada said, where's the balance? They said that, Prabhupada, we are keeping it for our future expenses. And that's why we didn't want to ask you for the money. Prabhupada said, no, you give me all the money. I will purify the money, right? Then they gave him all the money. So Prabhupada took all the money, checked all the money, and then he gave them back 20%. He said, now the money is pure. You understand? So just like that, you can quote, but first get permission from the guru, from the authorized person, from the Uttama Adhikari, from the realized person, and then your preaching will be effective, or whatever you do. Okay. So Nityananda Prabhu, when he preached, he actually preached without discrimination, whether caste or creed. In fact, he preached to the most like a lower caste, so-called by Indian standards, the lower caste, the very, very poor people he preached to. So he avoided all the rich people. But today, when our standard of preaching, we look for the rich, we look for the affluent people. And those people that are so-called poor or belong to different lower castes, so-called lower castes, we try to not focus on them. But Mahaprabhu, Nityananda Prabhu didn't do that. He focused mainly on the poor and the lower caste, and he preached. And we noticed, even now, I'm living here in Radhakund, and I see hundreds and thousands of people do parikram, especially in the Purnima period. And you can just see that over 90% of the people are very poor. And you can see that they don't belong to so-called affluent or higher sort of caste. But they seem to be great devotees of Gauranga Mahaprabhu. So it's showing even here in Radhakund. We can see that people walking on the Parikram road are basically like these kind of people, the great devotees. So I'm happy that so many of you, some only one face is strange, for the rest I know. I can't see your name, right? So today I am, because the first time actually I'm going on Zoom, so I don't really know, I'm still learning. If anybody got any questions, one at a time, can ask. I will try my best to answer. Anybody can, one at a time can ask. Okay, Tunya Vidya, I can start with you. You got any questions you like to ask?
Not yet, but if anybody wants to ask, they should unmute themselves. There is an icon in the left corner down, so you can mute and unmute yourself.
Okay, if anybody wants to ask, You could ask.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Who's this?
Vasudeva Rao.
Oh,
Vasudeva.
okay. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, bro.
Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna.
Prabhu, one has to
Yes.
be in Madhyamadhikari or Uttamadhikari to preach.
Yes, according to the Jaiva Dharma, one has to be Uttama Adhikari to preach.
Okay.
Because
Sometimes
only an Uttama
I read
Adhikari
somewhere,
can install the
sometimes I
faith.
read- Okay.
Okay, that was Dr. Vasudev from South India. Okay, anybody else?
In some place I read actually, Uttamadhikari come down to the Madhyamadhikari, then preach, something like that. Is it true or
Yes,
what?
like when a guru, yes, that is correct. But he has to be Uttama Adhikari to come down to the Madhyama Adhikari to preach. Yes, because an Uttama Adhikari has to come down so he can relate and work with the people. So he comes down to Madhyama, but he has to be Uttama Adhikari.
Yes.
Right. So what you're saying is correct. Madhyama Adhikari can preach, but after coming down from the Uttama Adhikari stage.
Yes, Prabhu.
Okay. Manish normally has a lot of questions. He doesn't seem to have any questions today.
Unless they are empowered by Nityananda Prabhu, it is very difficult to preach.
Yes, that is very true. In fact, it is said that Srila Prabhupada, Bhaktivedanta Swami, was actually empowered by Nityananda Prabhu to preach. They call him Nityananda Avesh. He was empowered by Lord Nityananda. So without getting empowered by Lord Nityananda, one cannot preach. And Nityananda Prabhu is the original guru. That's why he's called Adi Guru. So you have to be empowered. Otherwise, you won't be able to preach. You have to be empowered. And that is a very good point you raised. You have to be empowered by Nityananda Prabhu to preach. But the guru, he acts as a representative of Nityananda Prabhu. That's why he is the guru. So Nityananda Prabhu is the original guru. So you have to be empowered by the current guru.
Okay. Hare Krishna, Sri Dharmavira Prabhu. I had one question.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna,
With regard, yes. So many times I have heard this quote where it is said, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, Jare dekhe tare kahe Krishna upadesh. Whoever you meet,
Yes.
tell them about Krishna. So is that different to preaching?
Yes. Actually, it's also where Mahaprabhu said, you make your life perfect. Hello. So in cases, he also said, you make your life perfect, and then whoever you meet, you preach, you speak to. But first, you make your life perfect. Especially, he said, everyone was taken birth in India.
Okay.
Okay. So yes, so everyone was, especially he said, the people in India, taken birth, you make your life perfect, and everyone you meet, you preach. Because if we understand this more from a technical aspect, in the 10 offenses that we used to chant daily, as itself, Prabhupada, I know, every morning after Mangalarti, we should chant the 10 offenses. And one of the 10 offenses is we should not preach to a faithless person. So how will you know who's faithless and who's not faithless? So you can be making aparad, making an offense.
Yes.
But a Uttama Adhikari, he can preach because he can actually change the person. Just like how Lord Nityananda Prabhu and them, they have done to Jagai and Madai. They were the most sinful people, but they changed them into pure devotees, get Krishna Prem. Okay, Prabhu?
Okay. Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you.
Okay. All right.
Guruji, I have a question.
Yeah, sure. I thought you would ask.
No, it's a question because like many students, in the new group, they ask me, "Oh, we want to preach and we want to preach." I tell them that till the Guru says you should not preach, and I guide them to like do one-on preaching, one-on-one, like your parents or your friends who are conducive, who are like they are favorable, but don't try to force anyone. But recently someone asked me that he is living a base, ISKCON base, so he can't be away from these non-devotees, we can say, or sadhaks, and he attends festivals of the ISKCON where they say Leela of they speak Leela, like today festival there will be brahmacharis will be speaking the Leelas, so he enjoys that very much. So he asked me, can he should he listen or not to
No,
these
that is aparat. That is aparat. That
okay.
is aparat. In fact, Prabhupada has explained that we should not jump to the Leela, that is the 10th canto. We should first gradually start first canto, second canto, third canto, and we should become eligible to listen to Krishna Leela. So it is aparad if one is not on a very high spiritual level. And that means high spiritual level means practicing sadhana bhakti properly. And if one is not chanting, has instruction of Mahaprabhu, who actually gave us a concession that we should chant a minimum 100,000 names daily for him to accept any of our offerings. That is the minimum. In fact, Haridas Thakur was appointed the Namacharya, and he was chanting minimum. Haridas Thakur was chanting minimum 300,000 names a day, minimum, not maximum, minimum. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, because householders, because they engage in so many various activities, he made this concession that they chant 100,000 names. So that's the minimum. So if you're not doing that regularly and you're going to listen to Krishna Leela, then it is bogus. And that is the minimum. And that is only for grihastas, not for brahmacharis or sannyasis. They should be chanting minimum 3 lakhs. But today, sometimes people say, oh, 3 lakhs, oh, it's not possible. No, it's not possible only in the mind. Everything is possible. It depends on how serious one is. If one is not serious, then everything is difficult. Even chanting 16 rounds will also be difficult. So it's not necessary that anything is difficult. It's just that we make it difficult on a mental level. Nothing is really difficult. We just have to practice and apply ourselves. And Gauranga Mahaprabhu, he himself being the Supreme Person, and he also knows that this is Kali Yuga, and he was preaching to the people in Kali Yuga. So you think Gauranga Mahaprabhu wouldn't know what the people would be capable of? You think he wouldn't know that the people will be capable? No, people can chant 3 lakhs. He knows that. But he made this concession for householders that they can chant. So if your students are brahmacharis or sannyasis, etc., they should be chanting minimum 3 lakhs a day. Right. Then we know they can go to the stage after some time where they don't have to listen to actually Krishna Leela. Krishna Leela will appear automatically when you chant the holy name. When the pure holy name you chant, you will automatically see Krishna Leela in front of you. You'll actually see, because the name is none different. So then when you stop, then you know you are ready for listening to Krishna Leela. Okay.
Thank you, Guruji.
No problem. Thank you.
And one more question, Sri Dharmavira Prabhu, if I may ask.
Yes, yeah.
So
Sure,
the question
Prabhu.
is being Nityananda Trayodashi, or at me at a personal level, because I am a conditioned soul. So don't even
Yes.
know what to pray or what to do. So how should we take this opportunity of auspicious day of Nityananda Trayodashi? What should be our prayer to Nityananda
Okay.
Prabhu?
A very good question. See, firstly, these are for conditioned souls, that these special days, there is so much profuse of spiritual energy. So when one observes these auspicious days, especially for the conditioned soul, it is very, very uh, important days, because there is so much Shakti. So whenever we engage in spiritual practices on these days, it is multiplied by manyfold. This is very important, but not for a self-realized person, because he is in that mood every day. But for a conditioned soul, it is very important. So on this day, like Brajush may ask the question, what should be our thinking? So we always were taught that in these days we should actually read about these personalities. Like say we are reading about Haridas, or Haridas Thakur's day, appearance day or disappearance day. We read and we churn the nectar of him on that day. And if it's Lord Nityananda Prabhu's day, we read stories, authorized stories, and we churn the nectar, and then we get the benefit by glorifying them. By reading about them, we actually glorify them, and then they transmit that energy to us.
Okay.
Okay, so this should be one's mood on these different auspicious days.
Okay, thank you, Sri Dharmavira Prabhu.
Okay. Okay. All right. I'm just seeing this Karthik. I'm just watching. Now I'm seeing the name. Okay. Hare Krishna, Karthik. Hare Krishna. I can't hear you.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. What is your name?
Sai Karthik.
Oh, Sai Karthik. Okay. Okay. All right. Very good. You have a question?
No. No.
Okay. 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 All right. Okay. All right. So we won't take any more time. So this is my first session. So we hope we can improve. And yes, I was a little bit anxious how to organize it. In fact, Tunya Vidya Mataji set up this link, and I didn't even know how it operates. This first time I'm seeing this, and it is looking good. Then I can see all of you, and I can speak to all of you at once. It is excellent. It's so good, and it's how it sounds. I don't know. Is it clear?
Yeah, it's clear. Prabhu.
Very clear. Zoom is
Okay,
Yes.
yeah. So, okay, that's very good, because it's the first time I'm doing it, and I hope we can actually do much more like this. Because see, speaking about my mission, or our mission, or Gauranga Mahaprabhu's mission, is that we want to take all conditioned souls that are ready back to Goloka Vrindavan. And that is why Guru comes. There's a bona fide Guru. He comes as a representative of Krishna, and he only wants to take people away. But it is a thankless task, because people don't want to give up their material ways, their material thinkings, the material attachments. Though we explain again and again that this material world is not a place for a gentleman. The body is just not us, but we identify with the body so much. So sometimes we ask, oh, should I give up this and give up that? So sometimes diplomatically, I say, no, you don't have to, because I can't tell the people, yes, you should give it up. Because people say, then I'd rather give up Krishna consciousness. If I ask them, they have to give up this, they give up that. So I tell them, no, it's okay. You do your work, you carry on, you live your normal life. But if I tell them you give up everything, this is what Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, and you just surrender to me, and then people say, oh, then I'll leave it for my next life. I'll call it off now. So I diplomatically have to say, no, you carry on, you do whatever work you are doing, and that's okay. So gradually, I'm trying to cultivate this understanding of Krishna consciousness, where you can come and associate with sadhu. And most people don't even know what is sadhu. They confuse a sadhu with a sadhaka, right? A sadhak is one who's practicing to become a sadhu. So sometimes we think now, if we go to some sort of religious institute, we will be associating with sadhus. But that's not true. Sadhu is one who is a realized person. So you're not getting a sadhu sanga. A sadhaka and a sadhu is two different persons. A sadhaka is a trainee who's learning the practices. So we think, oh, I'll go to this institute and I'll associate with the sadhus. I'll get Vaishnava association. No, a Vaishnava is also a realized person. It's not one who has the dress, the tilak markings, the dhoti, kurta, or sari. That is not sadhu or sadhu sangha. Sadhu means one who is realized. A sadhaka is not a sadhu. He's an apprentice. Okay, so that is why we are actually building this Harinam Center, so we can give facility to those who want to become sadhus. We are training them, and we are creating also a website where we are giving all the timings, our programs, etc. So our basic timing is that in our training program is we rise at 2 a.m. every morning, and I've been doing that for years. And we start our actual chanting together at 3 a.m. And we chant from 3 a.m. till about 6 a.m. And then at 6 a.m. we go on parikram, on Radhakund parikram, from 6 a.m. to 7 a.m. like this. So in this way, this is the initial program. So we are ready to give association and help people. And recently we had Ramananda Rai and Sri Krishna Das, both were here. And I must say I was very impressed with Ramananda Rai, because it's the first time he came here. And when he first came here, actually, I like to share one incident with you about him. Before he could come here, I asked him how long was he coming here for. He said he's coming for 1 week. So I said, okay, can't you extend it to 2 weeks? Because Krishna Das is also coming here for 2 weeks, so you both can be together. And then he said, okay, I will come with no return ticket. I'll just come on a single ticket and I won't book my return ticket. So I was very happy to hear this, because Gokishore Babaji explained the same thing. Once when somebody came to see him, and they said that they were in a hurry to go back because their train ticket was booked to go back. So Gokishore Das Babaji said, oh, so you have come with a return ticket. So I am some clown that you have come to see me, and after the event, the circus, then you go back home. So we learned this, and Srila Bhaktisiddhanta said, when we come to a spiritual place, we come with no return ticket. We don't come there, oh, like we're seeing some show, and then we go back. Because if you come, you must be ready to stay. But sometimes it's not practical for some people. Just like if you're coming from USA and all, you have to book your return tickets. But this is just an idea. So when he said that he's coming with no return tickets, so I said, oh, this is very nice. And so he came one day before before Sri Krishna Das would come. And yes, so it was his first experience. In fact, he'd never been to Vrindavan even before. It's the first time he has come from South India. And so after Krishna Das came the day later, so on the third day, Ramananda Rai is asking me, when can he book his return ticket? So I could understand that life was a little bit tough. That he was thinking whether he would be able to manage staying here for this long period. Because he was not used to getting up at 2 a.m. But during that period, he did get up at 2 a.m. And he practiced regularly with us. But after the third or fourth day, he found that the time was going too quickly. Because then he was getting like so-called acclimatized. He was getting used to the process. And by the 10th day, he was feeling that, how come 10 days has gone so quickly? Right. And that's what he shared with Sri Krishna Das, who informed me. Yes, in the beginning, everything is difficult. But as we practice, then we will find that maybe we may not want to leave this place. Because when you enter this place, if you enter in a proper consciousness, you will feel as you are in Goloka. And if you are in Goloka, then why would you want to go back to the material world? You want to remain in Goloka. So we hope that it happens to some of you when you come here. Okay. Okay, Hare Krishna. So we can end the session. How do we end it? I don't know how to end it. David, how to end the session?
We can end it.
Vancha kalpatarubhishcha.
No, I don't mean that. I mean like how to come out of this recording.
We will right now.
We are recording.